ways, in terms of like a buck slip, this is for visiting nurse service of New York. This is something that's in the appeal. Buck slip is the piece that's up in the upper left-hand corner that gets included in the appeal, and then the donation form is on the lower right, basically just driving people again online. And when somebody types in /donate online, we can track it from this, from the fact that it came in from the offline channel. So when you go to their website, when you click on donate, you're not going to /donate online, you're going to their donation form. So we were able to actually track it, which is, again, one thing that we can do online that is really important. Go ahead. Sure.
This is off topic or not, but you have a suggestion or can you help with like improving the website to get, people to see more things that you're doing? Like putting up a video or putting up a bit more information, or better, easier to navigate on the website.
Oh, in terms of like the content of like the buck slip?
Yeah, they're just the website in general.
Oh, you don't want to send them to your website because your website sucks. Is that what you're saying? You want to make your website better. How do you make your website better?
Yeah, well, we can. There are a lot of things that you can do to optimize the site for fundraising or for email collection. And if you want to have a conversation after, we can talk about that. Another thing to try to get people to get people's email addresses is these are two examples of reply slips that are kind of bifold reply slips, where the reply device, obviously standard reply device, donation options, ask strings, and then you've got a piece of it that allows people to input their email address. So if it's either writing it in, or for instance for Northeast Animal Shelter, there we've got the URL that says /signup. So if you go to that URL, again, it's trackable. You go there and you enter in your email address, we know that you came from this reply slip. So it's another way of getting email. And again, this is the repeat of that same slide as earlier, but basically, you get a higher response than if you just send people to direct mail or just send people the email. So it's just the going back and forth, and it applies to both people who would just be getting email and try test sending them a direct mail piece. And again, it goes all back to testing. You just don't want to start doing it because it could hamper response in certain situations. But you want to test it because it could certainly improve response. Okay.
Do you know any data on what better to start with?
It depends on the organization. I mean, Kathy was mentioning things like that's where it was kind of started online, and kind of the offline component has kind of come out of that. I mean, there are some organizations that are kind of built around an online campaign, and the offline comes secondarily, but most organizations that have been around for a while varies. Example of kind of like a fully integrated campaign. This is kind of the home stretch here. And so this is an example of, for Freedom from Hunger, an organization that we work with, has this thing in the fall. They also do malaria stuff. And in addition to doing stuff for Malaria Day, they also have something in the fall called Freedom from Hunger Day. And so it's a campaign that was built around this day that they created, that is all about kind of the programs that they have, which include bed nets and those sorts of things around the world. And so this is an example of their direct mail renewal in the fall that they had an opportunity to get a match in it. And Kathy alluded to earlier, a match, if you can get a match, they work really well offline, they work really well online. Any opportunity to be able to coordinate those things would be great. This buck slip that went in the appeal, the renewal itself didn't talk about the match because the match came in too late in the process to be able to get it in there. So we put this fairly, just very simple buck slip together, and we're able to insert that in the mail stream for this October renewal.
So it almost kind of created an impression that they could only get matched if they gave online in some ways.
Yeah, it did. And again, there was a date that was associated with it, and it kind of created that urgency. It created that urgency. And because it was it was last minute. Again, optimally you would want to have the copy in the appeal as well, or the renewal in this case, but it was just the timing, and it ended up turning into it was a 2-for-1 match to start with, and ended up being a 3-for-1 match when another donor added more funds to that, and so it reinforced the impact of the gift. So in addition to the people who were getting the offline component, there was also an email that reinforced the matching component. The appeal was about Freedom from Hunger Day, but there were call-outs. There was one in the center, there's the one on the upper right there that was talking about doubling your gift. And again, we have tested match versus not, and matches always win in terms of, for at least online, for
And
response
in
rate.
mail too.
And this is just kind of firing on all cylinders here. You want to get it everywhere you can. And so that was a targeted appeal. This is their monthly newsletter. It's called Hunger Bites, which is a great name for a newsletter. So they had it again as the donation call out in the newsletter. There's always a donation call out in the newsletter, but this one also reinforced the matching language so that they're getting it on a regular basis. And again, also it's talking about the match. It's talking about what's going to happen if you donate $25. We've customized these ask strings where it says turning $25 into $50. With a lot of online tools, you have information about their last gift. You can group people together and saying if you've given over $100, you have a different version that goes specifically to them. Where if you make a $200 gift, your gift becomes $400 in this case. So you can be specific about that just as you can in the offline channel. This is kind of an example of a postcard that we had sent out, and again, talking about the copy, talking about the match, and doubling every donation that.
So this
people give.
postcard went offline or online?
This was an online postcard.
Online.
Yeah, this is an online postcard. And again, as with what Kathy was saying with one of the earlier campaigns, there were direct mail pieces. All the renewals that were going out after the one that I showed you included the same sort of information. We set up a microsite about the campaign. Microsites can be very successful for campaign-driven items and efforts. It's essentially a small area of your website that has a singular focus. In this case, the whole microsite is all about Freedom from Hunger Day. And so all the different components on here, you could read stories about people that Freedom from Hunger has helped. You can send a free e-card. I've got an example of that. It gives this passport game where you can answer questions and you get kind of like a passport printout that you can have. They've got a blog that's specifically about this where the executive director is blogging all day on Freedom from Hunger Day. You can sign a hunger petition. And so again, it's basically, every website needs to have a purpose, but many websites focus on many different things. There are program necessities, there are things to promote volunteering and donating, so it has all these multiple facets. And a microsite just kind of narrows the focus. And for campaigns, sending people something like this is great for emergency. So there's a microsite. This was a homepage takeover. We call it's a light box. There are a lot of different terminologies for it, but you can see the website in the background, and then this. If you went to the website on Freedom from Hunger Day, you get this. You could double the gift, and again, reinforcing the messaging with the doubling of the gift.
United Nations Foundation, Nothing But Mess did the same thing when they happened to be the featured charity on American Idol.
Oh, yeah.
So if you went to their website that day, the first thing you saw was a big American Idol light box.
And again, this is for capturing organic traffic, because all the communications that we've been talking about send you to that microsite, but if you just went to freedomfromhunger.org, you get this. And so again, it's kind of reinforcing it in multiple different areas. Social media, this is on their Facebook page, again, mentioning the campaign, talking about the doubling of your gift. This linked directly to the microsite. So again, just kind of that reinforcing in multiple channels. The e-card that I mentioned, from the microsite, you can send this e-card. Yeah. So, and again, with this, you can promote the matching campaign there as well. This is an SEM campaign, search engine marketing, very successful for fundraising, email, getting people to sign up for your email newsletter. So this is an example of just kind of their normal campaign for Freedom from Hunger that's branded to them, but then on the landing page, we've got, again, the language related to the match. So all of this funneled everybody, at least for the online component, to the donation page that, again, reinforced the match. So on that last step, you're reminded of the fact that if you give $25, it'll become $50. And again, this changed halfway through to end up being 3-to-1.
So this is where we all want to get to.
Right.
This great campaign that David just said. When we start taking baby steps and maybe starting to get our direct mail and our email to come together, then we can eventually get to the point where we're doing a lot of this integration. So that's the end of our talk. And please fill out your evaluations, and we will both stay
Yeah, we'll be
around
around.
to talk with you and answer any questions questions, and thank you very much.
As Kathy mentioned, there's you can go to that URL. It's also in the packet. It's also on SlideShare. Just search for SankeyNet, and the presentation is out there. But we'll stick around for any questions. If you want the presentation emails, you just let me know.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.